The sound of tiny footsteps echoes across the hardwood floor of our living room, bathed in the warm glow of sunlight streaming through the windows. Balloons bob gently in the breeze from the ceiling fan. On the table sits a birthday cake, its blue frosting adorned with the words, "Happy first birthday, Liam." I watch my son giggle as Michael lifts him high into the air. It's hard to believe a full year has passed since the day he came into this world. A day when everything shattered and then somehow pieced itself back together. My name is Emily Harper, and I'm 31 years old. I'm a mother, a wife, and a survivor of wounds that don't show on the surface, but carve deep into the heart. Today, my home is filled with warmth and love. But to understand how we arrived here, you need to know the story of what happened. Exactly 1 year ago, I was 8 months pregnant, barely holding myself together at my sister's wedding. That day, I was publicly humiliated, attacked, and left bleeding in front of hundreds by the people who were supposed to cherish me, my own parents and my sister. It wasn't the first time they'd broken me. I grew up in a home where my name was rarely spoken, often overlooked. My mother, Margaret, cared more about her appearance than my feelings. My father, Richard, sat silently at the dinner table, only engaging when my younger sister, Claire, spoke. Claire was the golden child, the one who could do no wrong, celebrated for simply existing. Me? I was invisible. No one noticed when I earned a college acceptance through my own hard work. No one cheered when I built my event planning business from nothing. When I shared the news of my pregnancy, their reaction was as if I'd announced a tragedy. Pregnant? With your job? Who's going to support you? My mother's face was cold, and my father barely looked up from his newspaper. That's when I stopped hoping for their approval. But then came Claire's wedding, a lavish, flawless spectacle for the family's perfect daughter. I should have declined the invitation. I should have protected my heart. But I didn't. I walked into that venue, 8 months pregnant, clutching my husband's hand, still foolishly hoping they'd see me, embrace me, value me. I had no idea that day would change everything. 2 weeks before the wedding, a luxurious invitation arrived in a cream envelope, sealed with a gold ribbon and embossed with elegant script. The card was extravagant, just like Claire. You are cordially invited to the wedding of Claire Harper and Daniel Weston. Michael found it in the mailbox and set it gently on the kitchen counter. I stared at it, my fingers brushing the ribbon without opening it. "Do you want to go?" Michael asked softly, knowing the answer wasn't simple. Part of me wanted to throw it away. Another part, the daughter still yearning for acceptance, thought maybe this time they'll treat me like I belong. But deep down, I knew better. I'd lived through family dinners where no one asked about my life, holiday gatherings where I felt like an obligation. I looked at Michael. "I don't want to regret not going." He gave me a warm smile and rested his hand on mine. "Then we'll go, together. But if you feel uneasy, we leave. No questions asked, just say the word." That's what I loved about him. No pressure, no pretense, just unwavering support. On the morning of the wedding, I stood before the mirror, struggling to fasten a flowing teal dress that accommodated my pregnant body. At 36 weeks, my back ached constantly, my ankles were swollen, and exhaustion clung to me. Yet my belly was round and beautiful, a testament to the life growing inside. I styled my hair simply, applied minimal makeup, and slipped on the small emerald earrings Michael gave me for our last anniversary. I looked weary but resilient. As we drove to the venue, Michael kept his hand on my knee, glancing at me with quiet concern. I rehearsed the smiles I'd need, the polite nods, the small talk to survive the day. Nothing could have prepared me for the extravagance of the event. We pulled up to the Willow Manor, a grand estate turned event hall, and I felt that familiar pang of not belonging. The parking lot gleamed with luxury vehicles. Guests ascended marble steps in shimmering gowns. I recognized faces, my mother's book club friends, my father's business associates, but no one acknowledged me. Inside, the venue was a vision of opulence, towering chandeliers, cascading flowers, and candles flickering on every surface. It was breathtaking and overwhelming. "Just breathe," Michael whispered. "We won't stay long." We were greeted not by my family but by one of Claire's assistants, who handed us an envelope with our table assignment, overflow seating, like an afterthought. I scanned the ballroom and spotted my mother near the stage, resplendent in a silver gown, her hair perfectly styled. She looked untouchable. Then I saw Claire, radiant in a blush pink wedding dress, surrounded by photographers and bridesmaids in coordinated attire. I offered a small smile. I wasn't envious of her spotlight. I was just tired of pretending her indifference didn't hurt, that my parents never asked about my pregnancy, never offered support, always made me feel like a burden. I didn't realize that day would drag all my buried pain into the open. Michael guided me to our table, tucked in a dim corner near the kitchen hallway, far from the main stage. The tablecloth was creased, the silverware mismatched, a stark contrast to the polished centerpieces elsewhere. Michael's jaw tightened, but he said nothing, just kissed my forehead. "I'm stepping outside to make a quick call," he said. "It's too loud in here." I nodded, watching him head toward the exit. Needing to stretch, I stood slowly. That's when I heard her voice. "Emily!" I turned to face Claire, her dress sparkling, her hair artfully tousled. Her smile was sharp, not warm. "You're really showing, aren't you?" I steadied myself. "I'm 9 months along," I said calmly. "He's healthy." She glanced at my dress with a judgmental tilt of her head. "Couldn't find something more flattering?" I bit back a response, looking away as the music softened and guests took their seats. Photographers positioned themselves for Claire's grand entrance. Everything was choreographed, perfect. "Except for me, Claire," I said quietly. "I don't want trouble today. I'm here because I care about you, even if you don't feel the same." Her eyes narrowed. "Then prove it," she snapped, pointing to a heavy marble vase near the aisle. "That centerpiece is in the way of the photographer's shot. Move it closer to the front." I stared at her. "You want me to move that? I'm 37 weeks pregnant. I can't lift heavy things, and you know it." She stepped closer, her voice low and venomous. "Then why are you even here?" I took a breath, turning to walk away. But before I could take another step, she shoved me hard. The crowd gasped as I stumbled, my body twisting. A sharp pain tore through my abdomen and back as I fell to my knees. Then I felt it, warm liquid pooling beneath me, soaking my dress. The ballroom fell silent, a glass shattered somewhere. Claire stepped back, her face pale with shock, or maybe fear. From across the room, my mother hissed, "What have you done?" Claire's voice rose in a shrill cry. "You've ruined my wedding!" I could barely breathe, my dress clinging to my legs, pain radiating through me. As I tried to push myself up, I saw my father storming through the crowd, his face contorted with rage. Before I could react, he grabbed a folded metal stand and swung it down on my head. The impact was deafening, a sickening crack that echoed through the room. My vision blurred, my ears rang, and blood trickled down my face. I collapsed, stunned, not just by the blow, but by the reality that my own father had attacked me publicly while I was pregnant. Gasps filled the air. Someone screamed. Voices murmured, "Did he just hit her? She's bleeding. She's pregnant." Claire's voice cut through again, shrill and selfish. "You had to make this about you, didn't you? This is my day." My mother rushed over, not to help but to hiss, "Get up! Don't embarrass us further." Blood dripped from my hairline as I stared at her, realizing they didn't see me as family, or even as human. Then I heard Michael's voice, raw with fury. "Emily!" He pushed through the crowd, dropping to his knees beside me, his hands shaking as he touched my face. "Who did this to you?" I couldn't speak, tears blurring my vision. Voices around us shouted, "Her sister pushed her, her water broke, her father hit her." Michael stood, his voice thunderous. "Call 911, now!" He dialed himself, his words sharp and urgent. "My pregnant wife was assaulted. She's bleeding, her water broke, and she needs help immediately. The attackers are still here." Guests began to act. A stranger pressed a napkin to my head. Another placed a jacket under my neck. Someone shouted, "Stop that man!" But my father had retreated, muttering excuses. Claire wailed, "This was supposed to be perfect." Michael knelt beside me again, gripping my hand. "Help's coming, love. You're going to be okay." Sirens wailed as police and paramedics burst into the ballroom. An officer, tall and authoritative, demanded, "Who did this?" Hands pointed to my father. "He hit her with that stand. She's pregnant," Michael explained, voice shaking but clear. "She's 37 weeks pregnant. Her sister pushed her, her water broke, and her father struck her head. She's been bleeding for 10 minutes. I want charges pressed." My father was cuffed on the spot, his face ashen. My mother tried to intervene, claiming it was a misunderstanding, but the officer shut her down. "Assaulting a pregnant woman is no misunderstanding." Claire, sobbing in her chair, insisted it was an accident, but the videos guests had recorded told the truth. She was cuffed next, screaming, "It's my wedding." My mother, for berating me while I bled, was detained for obstruction. As they were led away, Daniel's family, Claire's in-laws-to-be, stood by the door. His mother, voice icy, declared, "This wedding is cancelled. We won't align with a family like this." Claire's cries grew louder, but they walked out. I was lifted onto a stretcher, Michael holding my hand. Paramedics monitored me as we sped to St. Mary's Hospital. "You're stable," one said, "but we're prepping the maternity ward." In the ambulance, I whispered, "Let their perfect image crumble. I don't need them anymore. I have my real family." At the hospital, Dr. Sarah Coleman, my prenatal doctor, met us. "You're safe now, Emily," she said. Michael stayed by my side as labour began, triggered by the trauma. Hours blurred, pain, breathing, pushing. Then, just after 2 a.m, Liam's cry filled the room, strong and perfect. Dr. Coleman placed him on my chest, and I sobbed, not just from exhaustion but from release. "Hi, sweet boy," I whispered. Michael kissed us both, tears streaming. "You did it, Emily." We stayed in the hospital 4 days, recovering from the assault, labour and trauma. Nurses treated me with kindness, not judgment. Holding Liam at night, with Michael sleeping nearby, I realised they could hurt me, but they'd never silence me again. After discharge, I told Michael, "It's time for justice." He nodded. "Let's call the lawyer." We met with attorney Laura Mitchell, who listened as I recounted everything, Liam asleep in my arms. "We're pressing charges," I said, "for assault, endangerment, everything." The case was airtight, fueled by viral videos of the incident, over 2 million views online. Public outrage grew, with advocates and strangers demanding justice. We pursued charges of aggravated assault, endangerment of an unborn child, and emotional abuse. In court, I faced my family without fear, Liam in Michael's arms. My parents and Claire spun excuses, but the evidence, videos, witness accounts, was undeniable. The judge's verdict was clear. Guilty on all charges, prison sentences for all 3, no parole. Afterward, we moved into Michael's childhood home, a warm house with a blooming garden. I painted Liam's nursery with stars and animals, each stroke a promise. You are safe. You are loved. I rebuilt my business, not to escape, but because I loved it. We found a new community, a church where people embraced us, some inspired by my story. Our days filled with small joys, pizza nights, pancake mornings, cuddles with cartoons. The sun now shines on Liam's first birthday, balloons swaying, cake glowing with a single candle. Michael lights it and we sing softly, just for Liam, just for us. A year ago, my world broke, but it rebuilt stronger. I look at the courthouse photo, me holding Liam, Michael's arm around me. My eyes aren't sad, they're proud. "You'll never know their pain," I whisper to Liam, "only love. This day is his, but it's mine too. I'm not the daughter begging for love anymore. I'm the mother building it.